And we have featured artist John Jay out of Atlanta hanging out with us tonight. So, John, how you doing, man? Thanks for being flexible and being here tonight.
I'm doing all right. And yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. So I was kind of telling you, this is kind of the point when I introduce you into the show and sort of let you know that I pick all the artists to be on the show, and whether or not your genre of music is like my forte or something that I listen to all the time, you stood out to me and you deserve to be featured artist on the show. So I'm glad you're here. I will have everybody, all the featured artists, give their elevator pitch, if you will, about their music and what they're doing and stuff. So if you could just sort of explain who you are briefly and tell us a little bit about the song "The Remedy," then we're going to come back and get deeper with Dave.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll give you the quick elevator pitch. Of course, I'm from my name is John Jay. I'm from Houston. Moved to Atlanta a few years back. So it's always a southern undertone within the music, but the influences all over the place with this project. With this song, "The Remedy," it was on the first part of it was a long, drawn-out series. This Sunday Music was the first part of the series. So I was going to release a series of concept albums, Sunday Music. The next project that's coming out is Monday Music, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Basically, the soundtrack to your week. So you can just, and it's all going to tell one big story in the end. And it's I know I have to shorten the album because I know people's attention spans aren't that long. So I don't know why I came up with this process, but I was influenced by Kanye with the college dropout, late registration, graduation, whole thing. So that's why I figured, let me be a storyteller and try to do that to the best of my ability. So this song right here is "The Remedy." It's featured on Sunday Music, which is out now. And yeah.
Let's hear it, man.
Let's hit it,
What are you
Rob.
supposed to say?
What are we supposed to do? Hit it, Rob.
Girl, I hope you play this 100,000 times and let my power line shock your mind till it devours time. Tick-tock, kick rocks cause you're bound to find the one who's proud to shine and show you off looking like a dollar sign. And ain't always trying to figure like a Dina Howard, trying to throw your balls like Joe Mauer. I'm just waiting on my moment, cause some other niggas they be on it. Yeah, I know it's got the ball, but I'm pretty sure that we all been double crossed like a pound sign. But hey, what you doing on your downtime? Hey, better get around fried, cause we need to hook up and do something for free, like walking around. I'm just playing. Am I wrong for communicating through songs and putting my thoughts in the form of a poem? Or am I delirious? I know the furious should be inferior to pain you own. We can skip the anomics, looking like you bone it. My bad, I was spacing out, looking at the trunkery, just had a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Break it, 10-4. If you're not the one, then you're the prototype. Now you're telling me your heart been beat up like a Kodo fight. Good God, that's what the rappers say. So wait for it up, never hesitate. Hey, you make a nigga wanna update his resume. Let's get it.
Hold up, wait a minute. All she needed was some hold up. Wait a minute. All she needed was some hold up. Wait a minute. All she needed was some hold up. Wait a minute. All she needed was some use a bad chick and put your hands in the air. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. If you's a bad chick and put your hands in the air. Hands in the air. Hands in the air.
I see you ain't trying to drop down and get your ego on.
Deeper with Dave. Deeper with Dave. Oh, yeah.
Sponsored by...
I'm looking for a new jingle for Deeper with Dave. I forgot to say that in the intro.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, if anyone wants to write a little 10-second jingle, that thing is getting stale as hell, and I know it. I'm the first to admit it. It's horrible. All right. John Jay, man. So I think it's safe to say you're a baller, man. You're a baller in the studio. you're a baller on the basketball court, man. It's like you played basketball in college, right?
Yeah. I ended up playing at Mississippi Valley State, and then I went to Prairie View A&M, and yeah, it was short-lived. It didn't quite pan out the way I wanted it to, but it's all part of the process, and I feel like it definitely didn't happen for a reason.
What was your prime? What age was like your prime of your basketball skills? Was it freshman year?
No, I'd say probably like the last year that I played, but it was just, of course, like with anything, any job, it's all about politics. It's all about who you know. But with this, it just kind of phased out, and it was like, all right, look, it's, I'm racking up a ton load of student loan debt, so let me just get this degree and get up out of here.
Well, what's kind of cool with that is that you kind of, went on this path and everything. You're actually still you're working at NBA TV and CNN. You're doing some production work, so you're still kind of in the game in a sense, right?
Oh yeah. Still in the game, just behind the scenes now. If I can't be on the court, I'm gonna be the guy. I'm the technical dude, trying to figure out how everything works, like Rob here, and so I've always had a fascination with putting stuff together and learning how stuff works, because I know if you learn how stuff works behind the scenes, it'll help you in front of this camera as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Cool. So what I want to do tonight, I want to deconstruct the sound that you've reached and, in the song that we just heard. What are the influences? How did you reach that point? And I want to go all the way back, man. I was reading your bio and just kind of putting the story together here, and where it all began was in watching your mom on stage, man. When you were 12 years old or something. So I know she's a comedian, but when you were watching her back then, was she playing music, or what kind of grabbed you back then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whenever we would go on a road trip, she would, she had this was back in the day when we had the big CD case with 100 and 300 CDs in there.
Hell yeah.
So I would kind of be the unofficial DJ on the road trips. I was about 7 or 8. I would be in charge of the music on that portion. So
she'd play a gig in a different city and just pack up the whole family, do a road trip, and just make it a family affair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool,
exactly
man.
And so while we would be the kids in the back of the comedy club eating free chicken tenders. And,
nice.
And so when people were talking about, oh, excuse my language, I'm like, yeah, I grew up around all types of stuff. So with that, it just seeing how she would control an audience, and as she sets up the joke, just seeing people in anticipation of the punchline is just like, oh wow, you can control the room like that, and you can.
Okay, so that's interesting. So it actually kind of broke it down to even specific moments. You kind of you perceived she's on stage doing her thing and everything, and she'd say or do something where the crowd would either laugh or rumble, and you'd be like, "Whoa, wait!" It's what's going on? Yeah. What just happened there? You're getting this reaction out of people, and that kind of started to, I don't know, plant the seed inside you. It's I want to kind of do something. I want to create something that either inspires or gets some type of reaction out of people. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
Oh yeah, definitely. I guess the first influence is TV and film, because she used to work with Steve Harvey back in the day, and just being on the set of that TV show and seeing how everything was ran, I was like, oh man, this I found what I wanted to do early on. So
all right, cool. So also in your bio, it's you mentioned some seminal moments in terms of the link into music, which was what was it, Nas? I mean, what does Nas mean to you in terms of your music, your career?
Well, it was kind of my hip hop Bible, so to speak. Illmatic was the first time I tried to write. That was the first I tried to compare my rhymes to his. Of course, there was no comparison. I was trash back then. But just Nas, Lupe Fiasco, DMX, Little Brother. There's a lot of groups that really.
Yeah, I want to the Lupe Fiasco. I want to. That's 0.3 in the bio of these seminal moments. So it's this is after your kind of basketball era in your life, and then you hear was it the Food and Liquor album, Lupe Fiasco, you said it just kind of like brought you back into that whole scene. It's like, you know, I got to do music again after you were kind of away from it for a while. What was it about that album that just like knocked you on your ass or just like grabbed you?
Well, because it was stuff that was out of traditional hip hop. It was just storytelling. You know, most rapper, the typical rapper talks about how much money they have and this and that. But when I heard that album, I was like, oh, I didn't know you could talk about that. It's just talking about social issues, about people growing up without fathers and everything and this and that. And Illmatic was like my Old Testament. Food and Liquor was the New Testament. So it's just like I kind of follow those guidelines
Nice.
as far as trying to construct an album. So it's always going to be a well thought out process.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm thinking like the song we just heard. The other thing I wanted to ask you is like I've said it like a billion times on this show. What always kind of like moves me in terms of this style of music, whether it's kind of like rap or hip hop and everything, is not just like the rhyme and not just the vocals, but the production behind it, like the sounds, the noises, like how does it blend in and create this like event that you're a part of. So that's where I want to start. It's like the background, like I was feeling like some trance, you know, it's like even like Enya and just like these just kind of waves of sound. I'm curious, like where does that come from, man? Because it's like when you listen to like Nas or like the Lupe Fiasco, like the band, the rappers that you mentioned, like that's not always there. Like where does that background music come from for you?
Well, of course, with that song, that was a Janet Jackson sample. It was produced by Digital Beats, and yeah, just the sonics of music has changed throughout the years. Of course, you know, with hip hop back then, it was the boom bap era, and then now it's moving into heavier bass. Now just 808s, but this one, the influence on this one is just the accumulation of everything, pretty much. I know people say it's kind of similar to Kendrick Lamar, so it's I'm trying to step away from that, trying to be my own artist because everybody keeps trying to compare me to him. Of course, I mean it's not a bad thing that can be compared to.
No, it's not. I think people like to say that just because that's, you know, I mean, if they only know of 10 rappers, they like to just call out one of them as some type of reference. It's not always like a negative statement there, but all right, cool, man. So how often you playing live?
How am I playing live? I'm trying to do something every week. There's more so it's a lot of hole in the wall places. You know, of course, you know, this is paying dues. I've been paying dues for a while. Performing in front of 12 people, performing in front of hundreds of people. Who chilling circuit is what they call it. And right now, it's I'm trying to focus all my energy on finishing this project, Monday Music. So I kind of had to step back from everything in order to focus on finishing this first. So.
Yeah, what I used to like to do with small crowds is I would just take my shirt off. Like if there was just like less than 10 people, you know, let's just do something weird. You know, I'm not going to let the spectacle of no one there overtake the scene. It's just, you know, let's make it strange or something. But
small crowds work better for me. If I was in shape, I would take my shirt off too. But you know,
all right, man. Is any shout outs or any, you know, social links you want to put out there where people can kind of follow along your story?
Oh yeah, my name is John J713 across the board on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You know, 713, of course, you know, from Houston. So, you know, got to pay homage to the hometown.
Yep.
And it's kind of warm there now, so yes. Good job with your snow up there.
All right, John, pleasure chatting with you, man. It's like when you get the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday albums, everything, you got to send it back to us, and we'll have you back, man.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. It's I know it's been a while since Sunday and Monday, but it's kind of I was kind of simultaneously making all 7 albums at once, and I didn't even know it. So it's going to be back to back to back to back, and it's going to be an event for 2018.